Hello there everybody, welcome back to another MapleStory related video. It's Monday Maple Musings, the Triple M, the Microwave, where we take a look at the MapleStory subreddit over the last week and we see what people have been talking about. We see what people have been posting. That's all this series is. We just kind of hang out for 10, 15, 20 minutes sometimes and just yap about whatever people are talking about. I don't know. That sounds like your cup of tea. Stick around. And if you're sticking around, make sure you like, dislike, or do something engagement related. Please, God, I'm begging you. I have to feed my family of 75 children. None of that is true, but a bigger number, better person. This week, what do we got going on here? People, yeah, as always, the people are always talking about the arcane drop. Not even just arcane drop boxes, box drop rate. It's like people have been talking about star spec drop rates now too. I think it's mostly overdone, and when I say overdone, I mean in the sense that like it's just the same information over and over. But I will open up this thread because at the very least this thread does show probably the most useful data we've ever had. And then of course this week we also got the Mystic Frontier stuff and Ride or Die. Let's open up these and start here. Tutorial complete is the first one. This is just a 290 screenshot. Everybody always says, oh, X level is the tutorial. It's just a play on that meme. Obviously, 290 isn't the tutorial. Very few people ever hit 290. It's still like a massive achievement. But congrats to this guy. Very cute screenshot. Ori with AB. Very cute. Oh, is that Ascent? Oh yeah, it is Ascent, huh? Because, it's the stage for the AB Ori. That is cute. Many thanks to Glorp for dropping me 7k XP vouchers in 3 days of the event. Okay, so a lot of people aren't talking about this Twenteena portal event, but this shit is low-key overpowered as shit. And if they don't nerf it in this upcoming maintenance, because there's an upcoming maintenance from when I'm recording this, the maintenance will have already happened by the time this uploads. It will have happened like 12 hours ago from when I upload this. But if the Twenteena portal stuff didn't get nerfed... Okay, here, I'm gonna pop on over to the game. I usually don't pop on over to the game unless there's like a relevant reason to do so. But I think there is a relevant reason to do so right now. So I'm AFKing on my Dawn Warrior. Why am I AFKing on my Dawn Warrior? Because the portal timer is on a 15-20 minute timer where you just have to stay logged into a character, and then after that timer expires, you're able to spawn a Twenteena portal. After killing 1,000 mobs, you have a chance to spawn a portal. It's this event right here. I don't have it started on this character properly, but I still get all the portal stuff, so it is what it is. But basically, there's an internal timer between each portal of like 15 to 20 minutes. It's like 15 minutes. I just use 15 to 20 range to be safe. Where after you spawn your last portal, you have to wait that timer, then you're able to spawn another portal. And then once that timer elapses, you have to kill... Every 1,000 mobs you kill, you have a chance of spawning a portal. What is so good about this portal, you may ask? Well, you get 2 different rewards from this portal. You get this box right here, Twenteena's Heartfelt Gift, which guarantees you 50 elixirs, 3 node stones, and 100 XP vouchers, advanced XP vouchers. This on its own is fairly good because you can do 10 portals a day. Granted, it will take you quite a bit of time to do these portals, since there is a internal cooldown of 15 to 20 minutes between, and then there's the 1,000 mob kill chance to spawn a portal afterwards. So it will definitely take you time to get your 10 portals a day on your main character, but you're guaranteed basically 1,000 XP vouchers a day, which is equivalent to about 600 to 700 billion experience, which is very, 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 very good. Obviously, it depends on the level, but I'm using like level 275-ish as a fucking example. That's about the amount of experience you'll get from the tickets using it at that level. You also get a big pouch, which has a different list of random rewards you can get, including 1,000 XP vouchers. This is insane because it seems like the rate of hitting advanced XP vouchers is quite high, and every time you hit an advanced XP voucher roll from this bag, that is an extra 600 to 700 billion experience immediately. And again, you get 10 of these bags per day. You get 1 bag and 1 box every time you go in a portal. That is why I'm AFKing on my Dawn Warrior, because I'm farming these bags and boxes. And that is my plan to level up my fucking Wild Hunter. But I don't see anyone talking about this event. This shit is so broken, it's unbelievable. Completely as an aside. Actually, you know what? Here, let me demonstrate this, because I'm using my advanced... Yeah, okay, so it's been 15 minutes. So here, let me see if I can spawn a portal for you, because I've been AFKing for just 15 minutes now. Because I started my advanced harvest timer thing at exactly... 55, and now it's 110. So that's 15 minutes. So I'm starting a BA so you can see the enemies killed. It doesn't always immediately proc on 1,000. I think there's like some kind of carryover sometimes in any case. I will kill though until I get a portal, and I'll show you guys, because I don't want to keep this too long, but I want to show you guys this shit. Because if it doesn't get changed, if you have the ability to AFK on characters and then kill 1,000 mobs every, like, 30 minutes or whatever, the gains here are insane. This is, like, genuinely one of the most broken events they've ever done, because these bags are per character, and the bags are account tradable. So if they don't change anything in the maintenance, I'm praying, because, like I said, I'm going to record and upload this video before the maintenance. So again, double check with the maintenance to see if they changed anything with this event, because if they did, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for myself, too. Anyways, I'll pause the recording until I get a portal. Okay, and then this is why. You can see my battle analysis pretty much exactly at 1k. My portal spawned. Again, it has a chance to spawn every 1,000 mobs killed. So you just hop in the portal. And then you just hit the boss for 20 seconds or until it dies. Because, I mean, people fucking insta-kill this shit. It dies very, very quickly. You can see I can go in the portal 8 more times in the chat box today. Once you're done, you just NPC chat the alien, glorp as it were, you get your bags. And then you cannot spawn another portal for another 15-20 minutes. So you just have to be logged in the character. This timer doesn't seem to go down when you're logged out. So all I do is I either note down the time on like something, or I usually use this. So at 1:30, I can get another portal. Anyways, I, again, don't typically do this, but I think this event is so good, and somebody mentioned it here, so I figured I would pop off, just because I have actual information about this. Since this is something I tried to figure out, because I knew immediately upon seeing this event was capped, not per world, but per character, that it was going to be something worth doing. Anyways. Statistical analysis of arcane armor boxes. So basically, this is another post about the drop rates and stuff. Though this post is probably the most useful post we've ever had, because it actually has a good amount of sample sizes, and it's not like super cherry-picked, allegedly at least. The only problem that really exists with this data set is assuming that every single boss has the same drop chance for a box, which I think is probably incorrect. And again, I've always said that there's a very likely chance that things have been changed, but there's no way to know just by some people anecdotally saying, oh, I used to get 75 boxes a week and now I get 0 boxes in the last 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, anecdotally, that doesn't help. Because again, I always use me personally as an example for this. Anecdotally, I have genuinely not gotten an arcane box, either weapon or armor, from Black Mage in literally 4 or 5 months of running Black Mage on 4 characters for like 3 of those months, and then 6 characters for the last like month and a half. Or the last 2 months, 2 resets, whatever. Am I just super unlucky? That's well before the quote-unquote nerf. You see what I mean? Anecdotal evidence doesn't really help that much. And I just say this because it's, like, important to get actual numbers for anything to, like, matter. Hello, cat. Come on. Come sit on my lap. Yep, come on. But... Sorry, I have a cat on my lap now. What was I saying? I'm petting the kitty now. Anecdotal evidence just doesn't really help. And something like this is a good amount of numbers. Obviously, it's not, like, multiple thousands upon multiple thousands, but at a certain point, I'm not, like, a super math person. There's a lot of, like, actually smart math people in the comments, though. But you only need a certain amount of samples in order to make a realistic inference of, like, a change, right? And this is, like, enough data to do that. And it seems like, from this gathered sample size, it seems like the drop rates have been about halved. But again, the only thing that I think is valid is assuming that each of these bosses have the same drop rate for, a box, which I don't think is correct. I don't think Hard Lucid and Hard Will have the same drop rate as, like, Darknell or Vihilla. You know what I mean? But it just averages them all out and assumes. But again, it is what it is. But it does seem like they are nerfed. And again, I've always said, I'm not saying that it's not nerfed, but I'm saying that, like, the massive amounts of posts anecdotally saying immediately after a patch, oh, I used to get thousands of boxes, now I get 0. It's just not helpful at all. And, like, I don't know. I'm of the opinion that it's probably not a good mentality to just always try to blame everything on something, instead of just accepting that maybe I'm just unlucky, but I should keep tracking data instead of just anecdotally, like, saying shit. Anyways, I know a lot of people feel differently because, people are very upsetty when it comes to this stuff. Ride or Die just perfectly captures the essence of Nexon. I just have so many questions. Why do we have bronze coins if all they're used for is to exchange for silver coins? Why can we not use Ursus buff in the lobby, but we're able to use it outside in the town and then enter to receive the buff? Why are we not able to summon our familiars in the lobby? Why is there no cooldown room? Why is there an NPC chat blocking so much of your screen in an event where trying to dodge mechanics is so important to your overall score? Why do we have practice for every difficulty except X, a difficulty that contributes most to your weekly score? Why do coins drop from the boss only for you to use them so they appear in the exchange menu? Why do the potions we receive not stack? It's literally the same potion. They don't have expiration dates. How is it possible this has been the third time this event has come out and we still have the same problem since the very first one? It's been 4 months since the last Ride or Die. That's more than enough time to address these silly issues. Sadly, I already know the answer. It's because Nexon. So sad. This is a valid explanation. Literally copy-paste every time. It's GMS exclusive. We should be excited for events where Ride or Die is such a drag, and we have 6 long weeks left. I mean, I've always hated Ride or Die. Since the very first iteration of Ride or Die was when I was, like, super weak and I couldn't just one-burst every boss. Obviously I can one burst every boss now and I still hate it. I just don't find it fun. But it's like more of a chore than it is like a challenge, like even a little bit. I just don't like it because it takes time that I don't want to be doing it. Obviously the rewards are really good, so I'm going to obviously do it, but you know what I mean. That is all to say, it's not necessarily that they haven't taken like some consideration. I do think Code X, the introduction of Code X, is actually like one of the better things that they've done. Making it so the only thing you can take in is weapon secondary emblem, and scaling the bosses specifically around that. Because it does lessen the gap of like a maxed out character on S20, which is what it used to be. S20. There's only 15 challenges now. But S20 used to be like, you either one-bursted it or you were fucking struggling. My cat is going ham on my hand right now, sorry. Being very cuddly. But all of these other things, all these other like critiques, 100% agree. Hi cat, don't eat me. He's eating my arm. Completely agree with him. A lot of this shit is just basic QOL that I don't know why they haven't fixed. Because the introduction of Code X shows me that they at least acknowledge the things that people say, right? Because the whole the whole initial thing was like how badly balanced S20 was, or just S difficulty, S20 being the maximum you needed to run for the points, versus like anyone who wasn't endgame and then like everyone else, you know what I mean? Or anyone who wasn't endgame versus like super endgamers who could one burst it. So that's why Code X was introduced in the second one. And I think Code X, honestly, look, I'm not saying Ride or Die is good, but I'm saying Code X was a good addition. And I fully support that. Because as it stands now, Code X is honestly probably easier than S. By a good margin. Just because you can only use weapon secondary emblem, so there's less of a gap between the upper echelon and the lower echelon. Obviously, Hexa impacts it still. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but you get what I mean, hopefully. But yeah, the rest of this shit 100% needs to be fixed. The cooldown room thing just... I knew there wasn't going to be a cooldown room internally. I was like, you know what? They're not going to add this. It'd be too nice. But you're completely correct. All this shit should be in. Got a pitched box hit with my first green pouch off my first expedition. So basically, it seems like you can get the pitched boxes from orange and above pouches. I've never seen somebody get it from a purple yet. I've had an orange pouch, didn't get shit from it except 3 bright cubes. This actually came from the orange pouch. The 10 bright cubes are what came from his green pouch. But yeah, this came from an orange one. Overall, I don't know. The Mystic Frontier system itself seems fine, I guess. The rewards are kind of shit. I mean, they're fine because it's free rewards, but a lot of the shit I just end up dropping. And again, it has the problem with like nothing stacking for some reason. Like all of the potions just don't stack for some reason. Yeah, I don't know. And like the rarity of the dungeon doesn't matter. The rarity of the dungeon just impacts how many node spawns you get on each map. So obviously more node spawns equals more chances to get like the good pouches. But at the end of the day, you could roll a fucking common map and hit the fucking green pouch node, green pouch reward in one of your nodes, and it'd be the exact same thing, right? But it's just layered RNG with another chance to get like pitched boxes. Am I upset that it exists? No. But it's kind of sad because I feel like it could have been more. It just could have been more, you know? This system could have been more. But, yeah. No cooldown reset in Ride or Die. A bit much to expect from a small indie company. Hi. Why are you meowing at me? I don't know if you guys could hear that, but, he's meowing at me. You really want attention, huh? I'm petting you, man. What do you want? But yeah, no cooldown reset in Ride or Die. Standard shit. It's a very, very valid complaint. Again, it's the typical because Nexon, but it's not a good response. It sucks. The Jenny badge fake out was diabolical. Yeah, when you start the Mystic Frontier quest, it says something about giving you like a temporary Genesis badge until the year like 2100. Obviously, you don't actually get it. It's just part of the quest. It was definitely something. Some people got very upset about it. This is what it was. We're giving out Genesis badge claim period until 5/11/2100. Can be claimed once per world. Want to claim yours? That's funny. It's funny, but sad. And then here's another Ride or Die thread, which again, completely support. I think Ride or Die is not great. Codex was a good addition, but it's not enough. This is the third time you guys are rolling out Ride or Die. Ever since it was introduced, the entire community has spoken against it. We hoped it might improve after the first iteration. While there were minuscule changes, every time it returns, it's still an awful, buggy mess that most players would rather skip than participate in. Well, yeah, people would probably rather skip it, but they're still going to do it because the rewards are so good. The worst part is the real potential here. I remember being genuinely hyped when Ride or Die was first announced because it sounded like fun, meaningful content. This year, me and my friends who watch MapleCon together were literally crossing our fingers not to hear this announced again. This is GMS exclusive content, so why is it some of the worst content we've received? You're effectively putting your name on something that is universally disliked by your own players. The rewards make this even worse. After the last iteration, players were very clear about the potable badge issue. Not just because it was temporary, but because badges are a core progression slot and some players still have legacy potable badges that are stronger than the supposed endgame Genesis badge. Instead of addressing the imbalance or even acknowledging the feedback, you chose to simply remove the Ride or Die badge entirely and say nothing. Ignoring the problem doesn't fix it, it just leaves a broken progression system in place while pretending it doesn't exist. What's most frustrating is that none of these problems are new. The community has been loud and consistent about the bugs and mechanics and the rewards since the very first Ride or Die. The feedback has been posted everywhere, forums, Discord, Reddit, MapleCon, yet it feels completely ignored. Re-releasing the same event with the same issue sends a clear message that player feedback doesn't matter. At this point, Ride or Die isn't just bad content, it actively erodes player trust. If you're going to continue calling the GMS exclusive content, needs serious rework based on actual player feedback, or shouldn't be brought back at all. Let me end by saying I love that we get a Legion piece. It gives the amount of stats it does. I'm not able to look the other way at the dog shit content once again, just because it gives Legion block. Again, I will say, them adding Code X is proof to me that they at least read and acknowledge the things that people say. Because Code X is infinitely better than Code S was, and it lessens the gap. But it's not enough, obviously, and I'm not saying it is enough. I'm just saying we can be more than just all or nothing, you know? I feel like I'm always saying this, but it does seem like people lack a lot of nuance in these discussions. And I get it, it's probably just because it's the nature of the internet and the way that, like, people are, like, interacting with posts and, like, in communities. Because it seems like everything's, like, either you're with me or you're against me. And everyone's, like, trying to outrage bait everyone else. It's like a rage bait off. I don't know. Kitty, you gotta get off my lap, man. You're being crazy. Bro's trying to eat me. Look at the participation numbers in GMS. Our players must love this event. I mean, again, like I said, as soon as I mentioned players would most rather skip, I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people would rather skip it, but the reality is the rewards are too good to skip it, so you're gonna have a lot of people participating. But yeah, I think there's a lot valid here. Though I do think maybe tying the potable badge and legacy issue to Ride or Die is not the best way to go about it. I understand why people go about it this way. It's because of the temporary badge that was potable from Ride or Die. But I think the two things are separate issues. You know what I mean? I think the legacy items, and especially the potable badge, I mean, to a lesser degree, the totems and shit too. Because the totems are a shit ton of stat too. Let's not kid ourselves. Especially that flammable Misty Island totem. That shit can be fucking insane. Then obviously you have the Dark Doom totems. Even the gold totems are pretty good. I'm totally aware of this stuff. But like I said, legacy in general, I think these two things are a separate issue. I understand why they get tied together, because the badge was in the Ride or Die reward shop. I think you'd make more ground on separate issues instead of trying to tie them together. That's all. And again, at the end of the day, if Nexon doesn't want to do anything, they're just not going to do anything, so it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? As sad as that is to say. But that's just how it always is going to be. People hate it, but still do it for the rewards anyways. Yep. The entire community means the subreddit, who are vastly overestimating how much they give a shit what is said here, and in response to literally everything is always negative. There's a reason they don't bother having actual reps post here anymore. Y'all did this to yourself. They did plenty of revamping it during Season 2 based on player feedback. It's why Rank X exists. Because people ask for a mode that doesn't depend on gear, just on hands. The answer is clear. A not insignificant portion of posters on the subreddit need to get a different hobby that you don't hate every moment of. It'll do you a lot of good, but rather than doing that, you'll get a bunch of snide, ooh, Inkwell Dick Rider responses instead, and good luck to people who do that. I mean, this is a very extreme take. Also, hold on, my cat is meowing. Okay, I think I mentioned this was a bit of an extreme take, and that's not quite what I meant. I meant it's on the opposite extreme to what we're used to seeing. I mean, it's not like an extreme, but I understand what this guy is saying, and I think he's kind of correct. He's kind of saying what I just said almost, where it's like a lot of people don't have nuance on the internet, and it seems like everybody has to take like an extreme position. It's just like a fucking comment off, rage bait off. I don't know, man. And while I do agree with his underlying message of like, if you hate everything about a video game, you probably should find a different game to play. I can also understand it from the perspective of why people make these posts in the first place. But again, I think these posts would sound and read a lot better if it wasn't just always, everything is shit, they never listen to anything. You can point out the things that they do, like Code X, like this guy says too, Code X. You can point out the things that they do listen to and implement and acknowledge that it exists, while also still having a bunch of critiques, and it just makes you come across as like more genuine. I don't know, and it less against like you get what I mean. Either you get what I mean or you don't. I don't know. But yeah, this is actually like a pretty well written comment for Reddit, honestly. So good on this guy. And something I will always say, especially on the internet, I don't remember where I picked this up from, but I've been saying it for many years at this point. You are only as based as your worst take, in a lot of people's eyes. And on the internet, this rings true infinitely. You're only as based as your worst take. Keep that in mind, fellas. Anyways, I think that'll do it for this week. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. As always, like the video if you like it, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Thank you to my YouTube members, It's Biscuits, Inner Diz, Remix My Life. Love all you guys very, very much, and I'll see you guys all very, very soon. Bye!